Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final third. And today we're going to be looking at the Premier League match week 12 results. Some shock results, some great games, some great performances, just what we would expect from the Premier League. But before we jump straight into it, Al, do you want to reveal the player from the last video?
Yes, GW12. A player that is quite what's the word with Keane and Dewsbury Hall. Likes him a lot.
We'll discuss that man later.
Synonymous, I guess you could say.
Yes.
We'll be discussing Kieran and Dewsbury Hall later, so let's just jump straight into it if you guys do not mind. Okay, so the first game of the weekend was Burnley vs Chelsea. Chelsea winning 2-0. So with the new style of what we're doing here, we're not going to just do questions. We're just going to put one question out and we're going to discuss it. So, Chelsea. Their squad depth is looking very good. Now, they rotated the team quite a lot. They brought in new wingers. They brought in, obviously, Esteban didn't play. Casido didn't play. And you had players that came in and did a great job in replacement. And none more so than the man of the match of the game, Andre Santos. Comes in for Casido and was unbelievable. Done the job beautifully. And it shows Chelsea's squad depth is very good. So, what do you guys think about their squad depth?
To be fair, when you talk about Andre Santos, obviously he got man of the match, and this is a player that, to be fair, Carlos has been telling me about, and I even had him in my career mode in the last FIFA, to be fair, and he's a hell of a player, and to be honest, I was happy to see him, because I've been waiting to see him play for a while now, because I really wanted to see what his true potential could be, and I mean, he showed it. I know it's only Burnley, but at the end of the day, you can only face what you got in front of you, you know what I'm saying, and obviously getting that man of the match performance on his debut, starting. It's just really good, and I think it will help his confidence. And obviously he's got hard competition with Caicedo, so it's not going to be easy to start all the games. I
don't think he'll dislodge Casido, but it's just like, obviously
that's
they have a lot of games coming up. Like, look, they've obviously played the Burnley game now. They're playing Barca. As of recording today, we are on Monday, so they're playing Barcelona tomorrow. I'm guessing Casido will probably start that game. Do you know what I mean? So it's good to have the backups as well. And also, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, go for it.
Garnacho's been not dropped, but he's been rotated with Gittins, and Gittins got an assist, and a beautiful assist at that. So it just shows Chelsea's squad depth is looking very good. Maybe in the centre backs and the goalkeeper might be the issue, 100%. But in the attacking and midfield positions, it looks like they've built a good squad.
Yeah, I think one thing that also needs to be said, Chelsea played decently. I think Burnley were also not really bad that game. I think they were good. They had a couple of chances actually to score. But obviously, I think Robert Sanchez had a good game. I think the defence of Chelsea wasn't bad that game either. They held up pretty well. And especially at Turf Moor, where Burnley's got a good record, I think you got to give Chelsea credit for getting a result and scoring 2 goals. Unfortunately, they didn't score 3 goals because I would have got my prediction correct. But, fair play to Chelsea. And, great performance all round. Jamie Gittins, proving why he's a better, winger than Garnacho. I think Garnacho has good games sometimes, but I think Gittins has more quality. I feel like when you see Gittins play, he looks more of a footballer, whereas Garnacho looks like a bit of a Sunday League footballer. He just doesn't look comfortable on the ball. You know what I mean? Like his play style looks a bit awkward, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Jamie Gittins is a very good player, and I think if he gets given more time, he could definitely show why Chelsea bought him for that much money.
100%.
100%. Sorry, go finish your point and then I'll just say what I was.
No, I was just going to say, on Hassan's point about Jamie Gittins, to be fair, I'm surprised he hasn't played more, to be honest, especially the fact that he's plays Garnacho more than him. Like, that's crazy, that's stinky. How is he getting ahead of Jamie Gittins, you know what I'm saying? Because when he came in, again, Carlos is another player Carlos told me about, and to be honest, he's exciting, and I really do want to see more of him. But obviously, because of the amount of depth that they have and the amount of players they have in that position, it's not easy. You know what I mean? So that's all I wanted to really add.
That's fair enough. But just one more point about this game: where do we think Chelsea can finish, and what do you think they can achieve this season?
I think they can get top 4, but I don't think they can push more than that with the defense that they have and the goalkeeper.
They are second in the league. They're second in the league, to be fair, right now. So, they're in a good position right now. Obviously, there's still a lot of games to go. We're still under a third of the way there. So, definitely, I'd say they are within a strong chance of finishing top 4. But, it's down to how things go for them, I guess. Injuries, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're one of the favourites for top four, and potentially, they could do well. Are they still in the Carabao Cup? I think they still are. And
Yeah,
they are.
they could have a chance. Yeah, so they still have a chance. If they win a cup competition as well, it'll be a very successful season for them. So, fair play to Chelsea. We'll move on to the next game, and it is Bournemouth versus West Ham. Now, that game finished 2-2. I think in terms of West Ham, we can discuss like both teams really, but I feel like West Ham's best player and the reason that they got a result in this game was Alphonse Areola, because he's the first goalkeeper this season to get an assist, which obviously that's not the main reason why he's obviously in the West Ham team. It's shot stopping, and I think Al can describe it more than anyone. How good he is.
Mate, I've been giving this man so much praise for the last, few years since he's come to West Ham, and people, I swear, it's like they don't believe me. When I say he's up there as one of the better keepers in the league. No, I'm not saying he's like Alisson. He's not Alisson. He's not Donnarumma. He's not that. But the consistency that he has, it's on another level more than a lot of the keepers in the league. And it's so unfortunate for him that he's in a team that he's in that concede a lot of goals, and it doesn't reflect well enough on him. If he was in a better team, you know what I mean? It would reflect much better on him, and people would probably recognize it more. But because we just concede so many goals because of our defense, he doesn't. You know what I mean? People don't recognize how good he actually is, and I think that game people are finally starting to realize, how good Alphonse Areola is. Now, he didn't have to make any insane saves per se, no like top bins or even bottom corners. But it's just the consistency of staying focused and making save after save after save. You know what I mean? Especially with some of the quick reaction saves. That's also the thing, because it was very close quarters, these shots that were coming in at him. It weren't from outside the box. It was literally from near his 6-yard box. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And in terms of the performance, look, I think Nuno personally overall threw that game. Like when we were 2-0 up, I think he threw the game. I think the substitutions were poor. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about Nuno. I love Nuno and I think he's a great manager and I'm very happy to have him. But I just do think he did throw that game with the substitutions. I think they were way too early. That was my problem with them. Not necessarily what he did, but it was way too early. And to be fair, we could have still stayed in the game and won the game if it weren't for a certain centre-back that, I swear to God, I hope, bro, I'd say I wish we could sell him, but, bro, no one's gonna buy this dickhead, bro. He's so bad. He's actually, he's a bane of my existence, bro. He's a bane to my existence. I absolutely hate Kilman. He's so fucking bad. It hurts my eyes to watch. Bro, that penalty he gave away, what was he thinking? What was he thinking? Bro, he done that on purpose. I'm convinced he done that on purpose, bro. Because what he slides, there's no need, it wasn't actually near his hand that much. He could have easily moved his hand away, his arm away, but no, he decides let me play a bit of I don't a bit of basketball in the box, bro, and gives away a pen. The stupid dickhead, bro. Fucking yeah. Anyway, if you guys have anything to say,
do you have anything to say about West Ham, Hassan?
I mean, I think Ali's hit every point. He hasn't missed a single point. But
that's true.
If I want to add a few things in there, I'd say obviously, Nuno, I think obviously screwed up, West Ham's, momentum in the game. I think obviously getting a 2-0 lead is, very good. I'm 2-0 is one of the most dangerous scores in football, to be fair. Because when you, become complacent and concede a goal, that's when the other team starts, gaining momentum and starts scoring goals. Yeah, literally, quite literally. But I think that, the defense is obviously West Ham's main problem. I think also the midfield is one of them too. So, I feel like when West Ham invest in those areas, that's where West Ham can win these games. But, I think obviously Bournemouth, you got to give credit to them. I think they played really well. It was very similar to United's game against Everton, actually. I think that, West Ham, after 2 goals, started sitting back. And Bournemouth, obviously, instead of United not scoring a goal, Bournemouth actually scored 2 goals. So, you got to give credit to them for attacking against a low block. So, respect to them in that regard. But, I just think with West Ham, they need to, I think Nuno needs to learn from this and not to make early substitutions, because I think that was also what Amram used to do. Might be a bit of a Portuguese thing. So, they need to stop making subs too early, because it ruins the team's momentum and can definitely lead to results like this, where, you have a lead and you just lose it straight after. So,
Yeah. One thing I wanted to just add quickly about Bournemouth. Yeah, it was good for them from them to come back into the game, but I'm sorry, they had like 25 shots, and they.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say there is a finishing problem for them. They had 28 shots, 10 on target.
It was similar to today.
10 on target and only 2 go in. I'm sorry, that is poor finishing. And I actually saw a TikTok of this Bournemouth fan complaining, like, talking about the game and like the poor finishing. And yeah, look, I don't know. I was surprised that like Krupi came off when he came off, because I think he's probably their best finisher at the moment. And I'll give it to the guy that came on. I think his name's like I forgot his name. It's like the Turkish guy. What's his name?
Unal?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he came on and he scored a beautiful goal. The way he tuck it was amazing. I think he's had injury problems, to be fair, with Bournemouth since he's come. He just came back from injury to play in this game. But he looks like a good striker. If he can just stay fit, I think he can be a key player for them. But again, it still wasn't enough in terms of the finish.
Yeah, to be fair, Areola, I want to say Areola as well obviously had a really good game. So you can't really blame Bournemouth for not scoring. Yeah, he made very good saves. But some of these saves, it was kind of straight at. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but like some of them kind of were just straight at him. So I think the strikers have to do a bit better, to be fair. Of course, yeah.
But I mean, like you said, but I think you guys covered the game quite well, to be honest. And I think it's just time to move on to the next one. It is Brighton versus Brentford. Brighton win 2-1. Now, a major moment of the game was that last-minute penalty where Verbruggen makes the save. Thiago's been fantastic for Brentford this season. Obviously, only behind Haaland in the goals scored in Premier League. Big moment for Brighton. Obviously, they clutched up. They were winning at the time. It was still a close game, and the goalkeeper saves them. So, yeah, what do you guys think of the game in general?
Screw you, Thiago, for missing that penalty, because now Hassan's taken the lead against me because of that. If he had saved that penalty, I'd still be equal terms with him, so I'm really pissed off about that. But no, fair play to Verbruggen for saving it. You know what I mean? That's what you want as a keeper. That's what you want to do. Those are the moments you live for. You know what I mean? Saving a penalty in the last minute to keep your team get that win. But yeah, no, screw you, Thiago, again for doing that. But nah, like, you can't really be too angry at Thiago. He still scored a goal in the game, and he's still been brilliant for Brentford and been their main player when it comes to scoring goals for them. And yeah, I wouldn't I don't think it's too much of a worry for Brentford. They played great. They still came close to getting a point, but Brighton, the keeper saved them. Simple as that, to be honest, in my opinion.
Also, speaking about goals, another man who's been in very good form for a while for Brighton, Danny Welbeck. He's been on fire, 100%. Maybe not as much as Thiago, but he's been Brighton's best player over the last probably season and a half. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, in this season. So, I think strikers, doing quite well this season. What do you think, Hassan?
Yeah, at his age, to still be scoring goals for Brighton, very, very, you got to commend them for that. Not all strikers at that age are able to score goals at big moments, and Welbeck is exactly doing that. He had tough stints at United, for example, and he's proven that he's still a quality player and able to play in the Premier League and score, very important goals. So you got to give credit to him. And I think as well, one play we need to talk about is Belieber. Obviously, he was one of the reasons why he, gave the foul for the penalty. So, and he's just been off it completely, subbed off at half time as well. Ever since that United game, he's just been off it. I don't know what it is.
I've seen a stat saying I think he's the most subbed off starter in the Premier League.
Yeah, and that's not a good sign at all. That's like his manager seeing some sort of issue with him, internal problems or whatever, because, he knows that he's a quality player. That's why he's starting him, but he's not living up to the standards that he was, that he had from last season. That is a concern to have, especially for a player like him who was valuated at over 100 million, pounds, and now he's probably like 50 million, I guess.
I was going to say, do you think this will make United reconsider signing him or attempting?
100%, I agree, because that's part of why we want players with strong mentalities. We don't want players who fold that the biggest of chances. We want players that when the occasion arises, they need to step up. And especially against United, even in that game, he did not play well. So I feel like this is I feel like this is where United need to look elsewhere. Maybe look at the likes of Adam Morton or someone else. Because I don't think Belieber can handle being at a big club. So yeah, but you got to give credit to Brighton. I think they played really well. Brentford had very good chances and they could have easily won the game, but obviously that penalty save at the end is very crucial for Brighton winning that game. So you got to give respect to Verbruggen.
100%. I think you guys covered the game quite well, so we'll move on to the next one. And the next one is Fulham versus Sunderland. Fulham get, say, a shock win with the way both teams have been playing this season. A shock 1-0 win. So, looking at the stats of the game, I'll be honest, I didn't really watch it because I had work at the time. Fulham dominated in all aspects. 24 shots, 6 on target, way more corners. I mean, Robin Roos had to make about 4 proper saves, you know what I mean? And they only won 1-0 in the end from a goal from Jimenez. Now, he's probably their talisman, if we're honest. But he's getting on. I think he's like 34, 35 or something like that.
He's 34. He is 34.
There we are. So he's getting on. So what do you guys think about that? I'm guessing their next investment should be a proper striker to, take the mantle.
Didn't they sign? Oh, who's the other striker that they signed to behind him? It's not
a good question, actually.
It's not.
Don't think they did.
I don't think they didn't sign a striker.
No, sorry, not in the summer, but they have. I swear, there's a.
They played Josh King a striker at some point, but that's because Jimenez was injured.
Muniz.
Oh yeah,
they've had him for a while. He's not been very.
No,
good.
but I mean, he's meant to be you know what I mean? That's the only point.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's good.
They need.
Yeah, that's my point. I agree.
He's currently injured, isn't he?
He might be too.
Might be.
But my point, I wasn't trying to say they have a good person. I'm just saying they signed him. It hasn't gone well. So I do agree. I think they need to sign another striker, especially a bit younger, maybe still with some experience. You don't want someone especially in this country, you want someone that has a bit of experience to come in and help. But what I'll say is, with Fulham, we know that they have the quality to win a game like this. We know how good Sunderland are, but we know Fulham have that quality. We know they're a quality team. It's just
and the manager as well.
It's just the mentality, I think, that it's been a big problem this season. Maybe staying in games, keeping the lead, stuff like that. But fair play to them. They fought hard. They done it at home, which is good. You know what I mean? I think Craven Cottage, it's not a bad place. In terms of atmosphere. And yeah, no, of course that would have helped them. So now they got to push on with this result and get a bit of momentum from it. But that would be the biggest question. Can they keep it up? But I'm not sure who they've got next. Let me see who they got next. Let me see. They have Tottenham away as well. That's going to be a big challenge for them. We'll have to see if they can do anything in that game. Obviously, Tottenham themselves not on the greatest form, but then again, we know what the quality and the difference in quality is.
I think we'll talk about Tottenham a lot later, so don't worry about that. But in terms of Sunderland, right? What went wrong? What do you guys think? Because again, looking towards the stats, because I didn't watch the game. They were pretty shambolic, to say the least. There wasn't really any creativity. There wasn't, obviously, defensively they were quite bad. Robin Roos had to save them. So it seemed like it was just a very poor game from them in general.
I think with Sunderland, right, I think at home is where they're best. Obviously, a Stadium of Light, they've had really good results there and have decent record there. So it could be a part of that. Playing away is always difficult. However, I do think they didn't put up the usual Sunderland, performance that they've had been for, recent times. So they were definitely off. But you got to give credit to Fulham. I think they stepped up this game in front of the fans. So, you got to give respect to them. But yeah, it was completely off. I mean, we predicted Sunderland to win pretty much. I think everyone here thought that they'd win.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Yeah, based off their recent form, you think that they'd win. But, this is football. It's a good thing these things happen in the Premier League because it's a very competitive league. And yeah, hopefully that continues. But yeah, good game for Fulham, I guess. Good result for them.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, again, they deserved it and they probably deserve to win by more. But, that's how sometimes the game goes. Moving on to the next game, probably the shock or the biggest shock result of the weekend. Liverpool lost 3-0 to Nottingham Forest at home. Now, there's so many things we can say, but honestly, I will say one thing and then we can discuss it. Arne Slot, your job's in danger, mate. Start packing your bags. It's honestly looking very dangerous for you. And I think a lot of Liverpool fans agree with me. I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans say, his job is definitely in danger, and some of them are slot out. So, which is crazy after coming back off a Premier League winning season. So, what do you guys think about that?
Do you know what? I think you're right. I think genuinely, I was talking to the boys about it before. I think Slot is going to get sacked this season for sure. I can't see him staying. I think literally the only, like, it would take a miracle. He would have to somehow win like the rest of his games. That's the only way, which is not going to happen. And quite frankly, who do they bring in? Probably Glasner or Iraola, maybe. It's the only people I can really think of that could come in and do something. Look, a lot of people questioned last season, or after last season, whether was it just because of the team he had that he won the Premier League, or is he a good manager? So I think this was going to be a good true test to see how good Slot is as a manager, and unfortunately, it's
It's failed miserably.
The cracks have shown, you know what I'm saying, in his managerial like prowess, as you could say. He's just not good. He's not managing the games well. Substitutions are awful. The lineups are awful. Especially like the lineups have been a bit better from recent time, but like still awful. Obviously the backing that he had in the transfer window, like we said it. We said it was the best transfer window we've ever seen, and it's turned out to be one of the worst transfer windows we've ever seen. And obviously we've discussed this before. Is it because maybe getting too many quality players, is it a problem? And it seemed to be so far. Will another manager be able to come in and actually take advantage of these signings? We'll have to wait and see. But look, it's looking quite, I don't want to say bleak. It's not like they're going to get relegated or anything, but to be honest, can they even get top 4 at this rate? You know what I mean? Will they struggle? Because it does look like it. If they don't sack him soon and get someone else in, I think they won't get top 4. I honestly don't. I think they'll get 5th. And yeah, it's just not.
5th. That's generous.
Yeah, look, I'm just being generous. I'm being kind to them. Yeah, but literally. Honestly, at this rate, bro, with big Slotty over here, mate, it's not looking good, mate. It is not looking good.
To be honest, the one thing I will say, and this guy has been terrible since joining Liverpool, Alexander Isak, the most expensive Premier League signing. And he looks like the worst player in the Liverpool side. He has done nothing in the Premier League. Yeah. Literally. Okay, you can maybe say he's not getting chances. But even then, there's a player of what his quality and what he used to do at Newcastle, he used to come deep and collect the ball. He doesn't even do that for Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Where they probably need it more than ever. And he's not doing it. Is there a nervousness? Is there something behind the transfer fee? It is a big transfer fee, don't get me wrong.
They should have never signed him.
With a player of your quality,
They should have never signed him. We said it before.
That's what I'm saying. Katike is way better, as we've seen for what he's done for Liverpool, and 100%. But also, let's not take anything away from Nottingham Forest. They were quality.
Yeah.
Do we think that they can reach the heights of what they reached last season potentially, and maybe finish the season, or go on to do better this season?
It'd be lovely to see, because I think Nottingham Forest is a good team. I like them personally. They got good players. I do like Morgan Gibbs-White, Murillo. That's someone I really rate. I really like him. Who else now? Who else have they got? Chris Wood. I don't think he's been on it since Nuno. Since Nuno left, obviously, which is kind
Williams
of
as well. He was good as well.
Yeah. Williams. No, they're looking good. Can they hit the heights? What when you say that, what do you mean? Like what, top 6 or like
European? Yeah.
Potential. Listen, they're quite far off at the moment, but can they finish in the top half of the table? Because that's what they did last season.
I do want to ask, who? Right, in the Europa League, obviously they're still in the Europa League, of course. Who's their competition in that? I just want to know, is there a possibility? Do you think they could possibly win the Europa League?
They got Villa's in the Europa League as well.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't think about that. I don't know if they can win that.
And Unai Emery is literally the owner of Europa League because he keeps winning it.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah. But look, in terms of getting top 6, I'm not too sure. I'm trying to think who would be the top 6 right now. For me, you got Arsenal.
I'm not saying top 6, by the way. Listen, last season there was a bit of a freak season. I feel like this season, if they can kick on and do well. I mean, Hassan, what do you think about all of this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Forest, obviously, great win for them away from home. Winning at Anfield isn't the hardest thing to do nowadays, but it's still a big achievement. So, and 3 goals, 3-0 is a very impressive scoreline. Like, that's not by fluke or anything like that. Slot just been tactically masterminded by Sean Dyche. What a statement that is, by the way. Like the Clasico of the Baldies, and Sean Dyche comes out on top and just completely humiliates.
Sean Dyche always comes out on top with the Baldies, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from one fraud or one bold fraud, that's Dutch from the other. Like everyone spoke about Ten Hag, and now, yeah, Slot is looking even worse than Ten Hag. So, yeah, not looking good for him at all. I mean, I still think that sacking him now or anytime soon is still early games.
Premature, yeah.
I think that you need. I think you need to give him like 4 to 5 games.
Yeah, please don't sack him this week because they got West Ham next.
I'd love for him to stay, but I'm just saying from a Liverpool fan's perspective, you want to see how it plays out for the next few games.
Yeah, let's just play Liverpool first, and then you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, just let us play first, so we can.
Yeah, let them come to Old Trafford, but I say that, and another Liverpool side beat us today.
That's right at the end of the season, though. We'll have to wait and see what happens then. But I say it's time to move on to the next game. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So, on that note, the next game is Wolves versus Crystal Palace. 2-0 win for Crystal Palace, and I think a very expected result. But in terms of performance, you could probably say that Wolves actually performed quite well. They did, I wouldn't say they did a number on Crystal Palace. They lost 2-0 and they didn't score a goal. But it's way more exciting. Obviously, their season has been abysmal. They only have 2 points this season. They only drawn 2 games and they lost the rest of them. So for them to even have a decent performance against Crystal Palace is a start. You know what I mean? What do you guys think? Is it a good sign?
Nah, with Wolves, this is what I want to say. It's the story of their season, bro. Play well, don't get a result. They've done this pretty much in a lot of games this season, and it's just not going to be enough for me. I think, honestly, the damage has been done. I think it's too late for them. I think they're gone. I think this is it. I think they'll get relegated. I know it's the Premier League, anything can happen, but at this rate, they do not have near enough quality in that team to get back and get out of that relegation zone. They're on 2 points, boys. 2 points. I don't even know if I've ever seen a team on 2 points at this point in this season.
Everyone else is double digits and it's still single digits, and not even 9 points, 2 points. You know what I mean?
This is what I'm saying. I think it's too late. I think the damage has been done, and I don't think anything could salvage them. They're out of the Carabao Cup, so they can't even do that. I feel so bad for them. I genuinely do, and I don't know. I don't know when. Even the quality's so bad. I'm not even sure if they'd come straight back up from the Championship. If I'm being honest. I think it'll take them a good few seasons of recovering. If they get a new owner, maybe. I think that's the most important thing. I think they need a new owner because obviously the amount the fans have been crying out about the ownership, how bad he is. Yeah, it's just I think it's just too late for them. I think they're going to be gone. But fair play to Palace. Well, goal by was it Pina? Is his name? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I not say this season he could be one of the signings of the season because, bro, he's coming. Okay, I'm not going to say he's replaced Eze because that's crazy because we'll discuss him later. But yeah, bro, like you said, that goal was insane and he's been good for them all season. And now he's starting to pick up those goals and assists and, starting to make a big impact.
Yeah, I want to say something about Wolves as well. Obviously, when you guys spoke about Brentford and thinking that they'll get relegated, that's because of them losing a lot of their players and the manager. Whereas, I mean, that's a very logical point of view. However, Wolves, it's happened exactly in that way. They've lost all their big players, Cunha, Aït-Nouri, maybe a couple of others as well.
I think I'll say the one thing that was probably the difference at the time, and I think me and Ali, we said this, the fact they lost the manager, that's why we thought Brentford would fall off a lot more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the difference between Brentford and Wolves. Brentford's ownership, I think, is way more stable and better. Yeah, they understand football better.
Brentford.
Exactly. So the recruitment is very good. Whereas when you have a poorly recruitment team like at Wolves, for example, that shows the difference between those two clubs. One club managing it really well, one club not managing it so well. So yeah, you just see the difference between how clubs are run, and that makes a huge difference. And I think that's what we're seeing right now, to be fair.
100%, yeah, agreed. That's just it's really sad for Wolves, but you just gotta give credit to Crystal Palace because again they've been solid this season, and since last season till now, they've just built something and they're building a good squad, and let's see what more they can do. I think they can reach. Carry on.
No, I was just gonna say, just with Palace though, it's the only thing is because they're doing so well, but we know Glasner's going to leave at the end of the season, and I think I worry for them. I hope that it doesn't happen, and but I worry for them that they may return back to like mid-table mediocre. You know what I mean? Mediocrity if when Glasner leaves. I hope not, but I just think Glasner is genuinely like what is driving them right now to be so good. But yeah.
100%. You lose a manager like that, you lose a major cog in that system. So yeah, that's probably what it is. But let's go on to another shock result of the weekend, and that is Newcastle beating Manchester City 2-1. Now, we talk about this, we talk about Newcastle, we talk about the quality, we talk about the players they have. They come in and they've done a big result, as we said. Can Newcastle finally build on this performance? And is Harvey Barnes going to the World Cup with Scotland? Everyone's asking that question.
Of course, that was a bit of a funny moment. But yeah, bro, no, Harvey Barnes, he's a quality player, and we've known this for a while. And, fair play. I think he deserves this because he hasn't really been playing much for Newcastle. He has, but he hasn't really done much. But it's good to see him, finally getting a couple goals.
He's not scoring equalizers anymore. He's scoring winners now.
Harvey Barnes. But no, look, obviously there was a controversial moment towards the beginning of the game with City in the penalty situation with Foden, which personally I think is a penalty. And again, it's just another moment from VAR, which is just absolutely disgraceful how they haven't given it as a pen. It's a clear-cut pen. Like, a Shah gets nowhere near the ball. It's literally studs into the Foden's foot and doesn't get given. It's just like it's an awful reflection on the VAR again, and it needs to be sorted out very quickly.
Happened too many times.
Look, I've said it before. Look, with VAR, it's really annoying because I think it's such a good concept, but I just think the execution's been so poor that we're just better off without it, which is sad to say because realistically, it is a good concept. It's just the execution's poor. The only thing we can keep is the semi-automated offsides, because that's the only good thing, really. Apart from that,
I agree as well, to be fair.
It's all shit, and they...
I think VAR as a concept itself is not bad. I feel
that's
like
what I'm saying,
the people that are making the decisions.
Yeah.
I feel like if you look in the Champions League, they follow the script. If it's a handball, they have obviously like what the criteria is for a handball, right? I've seen like soft handballs given, but I've also seen like stonewall handballs not given in the Premier League. I feel like in the Champions League, they follow the list of rules, and they go with it. But in the Premier League, it's completely the opposite.
It's the inconsistency, bro.
Can I say something as well? I think when those only referees, refereeing the game and not another referee sitting in one room in a different place, I think the game was more stable then. And there was less like controversy as well. I don't remember football being that controversial back in the days. I mean, there were controversial moments, but I think the amount of controversial moments was much less when there was a referee on the pitch that decided everything.
Because you can No, because
I don't know if I have the best memory as well. But sorry, I don't have the best memory of the old games or whatever before there was VAR. But I feel like there wasn't that many controversial moments with there
were there were those old goals that you think are goals that have gone over the line. Goal line technology hasn't worked.
Yeah,
the clear red cards where it's like a crazy tackle, handballs. All the things we talk about, offsides. Yeah, offsides are one of the biggest things.
But but with
VAR is a very good concept. I think even let's add this in as well. AI, can that be used?
Of course, yeah.
I think it will.
I think you train AI.
Because I don't look. I
train AI, 100%.
Who's the referee that was on the fan debate? I think it was Mike Dean. Yeah, and he was just talking like VAR is never gonna go. It's never gonna go, and that's understandable. And look, back in the day, you talk about like without it, why it was like less. It's because you can give them the benefit of the doubt. It's human error. It's easy to make a mistake as a human, but now when you have VAR. And now they make a mistake still. That's where people are getting mad because it's like you have all this technology and you're still making mistakes. And
I think it's as well decisions. Bias as well. Like obviously there's going to be bias involved, and when it's glaring at you, if it's not a penalty or if it is a penalty, and you choose the wrong decision, even though your eyes are telling you one thing and you're choosing the other. That's what gets people pissed off because everyone is seeing the same thing. Everyone has the same screen, right? So when a referee gives a glaringly obvious wrong decision, it will put people off, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the problem with VAR. I say just the bias aspect of it.
100%. But again, let's not take anything away from Newcastle. I know that decision was very poor at the beginning of the game, but again, they've come and put in a performance where they deserved the win. And another thing that we can say as well, Manchester City, we've said a lot of times, no Haaland goal, no win.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
that's another thing we've always mentioned. What do you guys
100%.
think about that?
I mean, yeah, no, you're not wrong. Obviously Diaz did get a goal, but it wasn't enough. And look, I'm not. It's not like this the end of the world for seeing like. But in terms of title race, yeah, no, it's a big hit on the title race. I think. Yeah, we'll talk about Arsenal later, but this is a very bad loss for City in terms of their chances of the title.
Yeah, Haaland didn't have the best game as well. I feel like he missed a couple of chances, and I think Shirky was a bit quiet as well. I didn't really see much of Shirky, because in previous games you see Shirky was involved in a lot of the Haaland goals, and because he was quiet this game, Haaland didn't receive many chances to score, and Haaland himself didn't really play that well. So, yeah,
that's it. Yeah, 100%. I feel like we can discuss this game a lot more, but I feel like it's not really a shock result, but it's more the fact that Newcastle have been so poor this season and been so poor at home, and they've lost to like Arsenal in the last minute, Liverpool in the last minute. You might have even expected City to come and potentially do the same thing or win, as we all predicted Man City to win. But fair play to Newcastle, they got the result, and that's very good for them. But moving on to the next game, Leeds vs Aston Villa. Now, I'll be honest, I feel like this game was kind of an expected win for Aston Villa, the reform they've been in, and the fact that Leeds are a promoted side and they're not doing well and they didn't invest well enough. But I'm going to talk about one player who carried the game for Aston Villa, and that is Morgan Rogers. Now, you look at the amount of talent England have in their squad. Obviously, we're looking forward to the World Cup coming up. Do you think that he can be a player that will be a sort of a, as I said before in discussing about being a cog in a system, can he be one of those cogs for England's squad in the World Cup?
Yeah, definitely. I think he definitely can be. He's a very good player, very quality player. And we've known this for, since last season as well. He was amazing for Aston Villa. Obviously, I think start of the season, he's trying to get into, still trying to get into. Obviously, the whole Aston Villa team was not great for the first 4 games of the season. They didn't score any goals. But he's slowly back into his good form, and obviously I think he'll go with England, and I think he can be a very key player for England. Obviously, they got a lot of quality in his position, so it'll be hard to start over some of the other players. But I think he's got a good chance because he's very good, and obviously won the game for Villa to in that game. Obviously, free kick was. Somewhat good, I guess you could say. The keeper's probably got to do better. A lot of Leeds fans would probably argue that the keeper's got to do better. I saw a video of a perspective from behind the goal, and the Leeds fans were absolutely fuming, and you can't blame them because, realistically, it was. Keeper's got to do better, in my opinion. But you can't take it away from Morgan Rogers. You can only face what's ahead of him, and he put it into the back of the net. And in terms of Leeds, I thought fair play. They got a goal. They didn't play awful. As we know, Ellen Road is a hard place to go, and they didn't make it an easy game for Villa. But at the end of the day, Morgan Rogers was a key player to win that game.
I might say that Leeds were probably the better team in terms of overall, but again, I feel like right now Leeds, they're lacking a proper number 9 to take those chances. Hassan, what did you think about the game?
Yeah, as you said, I think Leeds didn't have a bad game, but obviously the quality between Leeds and Aston Villa is quite big. I feel like the difference in quality is massive, and proved why. When you look at Leeds, there's no standout player that is, would you say, Premier League level that can take a club like Leeds, like for example Cunha was at Wolves, to playing really good football and getting results. I think that's one of Leeds. They don't really have a world class player in their team or any player that's close to that. So obviously in those type of teams, you do need that one player to kind of carry you and help you get through certain games. And I just think Aston Villa completely dominated in the midfield, and that's the main reason why they won the game. Obviously, a bit of Rodgers masterclass as well. And in terms of Rodgers, you wouldn't say no to another young talent who can definitely help out England. And from what I know, he can definitely play in the wing area as well. So if England do want to use those positions, they could definitely use Rodgers as like a Rashford substitute or anyone like that in that position. So yeah, I think that he's definitely a very good asset for England. But I don't know if he's on the squad list. I don't know, but I think over some of the players in England right now, he could definitely be switched for one of them because he's in really good form right now. He wasn't good at the start of the season, but now he's picked up form. Has been really good. And Emi Martinez, I think he was good this game. He made a couple of saves. So you got to give credit to him. Obviously, he has the odd mistake here and there, which is part of his liabilities, but in general he's a world-class goalkeeper. He's done it at the big stages. He's done it for Aston Villa for a very long time now, and he did it for Arsenal as well. So yeah, you got to give credit to him as well, because goalkeepers do keep you in games, and he did exactly that.
100%. Goalkeepers are a major thing. And to be fair, this weekend, a lot of great goalkeeper performances, but let's talk about that a little bit further down the line. We'll move on to the next game. The next game is the North London Derby, and it was a hammering, battering embarrassment. Arsenal beat Tottenham 4-1 at the Emirates Stadium. Now, let's discuss Arsenal before we get on to Spurs, because I feel like the Spurs are obviously a major talking point as well. Arsenal, for me, they must win the Premier League now. There's no better opportunity than this season to go and win the Premier League. And also, do you guys think that Eberechi Eze is Arsenal's star man?
Honestly, yeah, I genuinely do think he is. I think time again, when he starts, he's been the key player for Arsenal. Obviously, against Crystal Palace, he scored the only goal to win them the game. Now he scored a hat-trick, the first player to score a hat-trick in the North London Derby, which is crazy to think. I thought someone would have scored a hat-trick before, but fair play, he's the first person to do it. And yeah, no, we know how good he is. And I was actually talking to a Crystal Palace fan today, and we were talking about Eze and how good his finishing is. And he was scoring goals like as if he was a number 9, which he obviously, isn't really a number 9, but he was like that in that game for them. And maybe Arteta sees that and possibly plays him as number 9. You never know. But look, yeah, the finishing that Eze has is just unbelievable, and he's just such a class player. And I think he will be that main man now going forward for Arsenal now. Up front. Obviously they signed Victor Gyökeres, hoping he'd be the key player, the striker, but I just don't think he's been up to par. I think Eze's just been better since he's come in. And I think he has to start, he's going to have to start pretty much every game for me. Even when Ødegaard comes back, he's going to have to fit in, but have to play him in the right position. Because there's times when Ødegaard was there and he was playing them both, but it wasn't in the right position, and it was holding him back. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Firstly, I want to say is, let's discuss the Foden assist. Mate. I don't know what's
unbelievable.
I don't know what's better, that or Sergio Busquets one to Messi in the Real Madrid semi-final.
Anyways, a hat-trick, but Foden.
Absolute cinema.
Foden, you talk about Foden's contribution to his goals, you know what I mean?
No.
Anyways, but moving on from that. Eze, what a player. I think Eze should definitely be starting, even as Ali said, even Ødegaard's back and fully fit, because I think Ødegaard, even when he's fit, has had a very good show of form. He's been quiet, missing for Arsenal. I think Arsenal fans have started to criticise his performances lately as well.
To get angry,
yeah, and his captaincy, he's not a great captain, whatever. Look, I've always said that before. Comparing Bruno Fernandes to Ødegaard has always been a crime. Look, I'll talk about Bruno in the next section, because he had an awful game today. But I just think that Ødegaard is not as good as what people have said initially, and I think Eze is a very good replacement for him potentially if they want to move on from Ødegaard. But I think that whole Arsenal just in general, they have to win the Premier League now. As Khaled said, this is the best opportunity. You've got Liverpool, who's not doing really well, who said that will be the only ones to challenge them for the title, based off the transfer market that they had. And also Man City not doing the best either, having losses here and there. Yeah, not having the best of form. I think Arsenal is the only team in serious form right now, and generally this is like how Liverpool was last season, where Liverpool were the only team having good form. So if they don't win the league and they bottle it second half of the season, this is what Arteta has to sign out the door, because he's had all the signings that he's had, all the signings that he's, complained about and said we don't have enough players or whatever for this position. He's got all these, he's got a striker now, he's got, a very good number 6 in Zubimendi. So, he needs to win this season. Otherwise, the there is no excuse for him not to win it. That's what I'm going to say.
I think there's one thing you can say, though. I think it's very unfair to criticize Arteta right now, or even say, there's an opportunity for him to get sacked. You just got to praise what he's doing this season, to be honest with you.
Of course, 100%. I'm just saying.
He's battered so many teams, and, there's a lot of Arsenal fans that are probably still waiting for Arteta to sort of mess up and be Arteta out. But I know a lot of fans, especially one of our friends, Ali. He was going to come on the podcast, and he probably will come down further down the line. But he is a massive Arsenal fan, and he says, "I will defend Arteta till I die," because he took them out of the trenches, and they were in the trenches. Honestly, they were terrible. The amount
of respect, honestly.
COVID Arsenal were probably one of the worst sides you'll ever see, because they did some meme level stuff. Top 5 meme, like in Premier League history, top 5 meme. You could probably see 3 of them from the COVID Arsenal period. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you can't take anything away from Arsenal and Arteta. They're doing fantastic this season. But let's move on to the other North London side. Honestly, we said Spurs are having a good season, and they're not doing bad, and you probably way better than last season. Let's not compare that. That's obviously out of the question. They are way better than last season. But performance-wise, against Chelsea, they were awful. And in this game, the only reason they got a goal is because Richarlison had a shot from halfway line.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than that, there was nothing going on.
Looking at a lot of what Tottenham fans have been saying online about Thomas Frank and the way he's been setting up in certain games, and how the way he played at Brentford doesn't necessarily line up for Tottenham. And I can see it. His pragmatism isn't right now for Tottenham, and it's losing them games big time. Against Arsenal, look, they were never going to beat Arsenal, let's be honest, but getting battered 4-1 is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And then losing to Chelsea as well at home, it's just not been great. And I'm not trying to have a go at Thomas Frank and say like he's a bad coach, but maybe this isn't the right job for him per se. Look, they're still doing like much better than last season. He's still not necessarily, it's not like the worst position in the league or anything, but for what Tottenham want, I understand why Tottenham fans are angry. Look, maybe if he gets a few more signings. What problem I've heard, like, even though Payet is a very good player and this and that, but the midfield, they don't have a player that can carry the ball. That can carry the ball forwards. Into
the defense is shocking as well.
They've had that issue for a while. Even last season, they've had too many defensive midfielders, too many attacking midfielders, but not enough number 8s, not enough ball carriers.
100%.
You know what I mean?
They know they have this problem, and they signed Xavi Simons and Payet instead. So at least fair enough, Xavi Simons, but why Payet? All right, he's a great player. No one's taking that away from him.
You can sign those two, but you need to sign a sort of
100%
like a deep line playmaker or a ball carrier.
But obviously, when you got a budget, you got to make sacrifices. And they clearly didn't make the right decision. They decided to sign Payet instead of someone that could probably carry the ball. And it's, coming to bite them back in the ass. And whether they do that in January, we'll have to wait and see. And I think if they can, it will change them big time. And obviously, they also need to still sign someone that can finish goals. Obviously, Richarlison scored the goal, but that meant nothing in the end, really. So,
I mean, to be fair, I guess you could say Pellin's assist to Foden. To Richarlison might be better than Foden's one. So,
whoa,
that's what I wanted to say.
Never say that. Foden's assist is one of the best assists I've ever seen.
I don't know which one is better. I don't know.
No.
Tell us, innit?
No.
Foden's unbelievable. Let's not get started with that. That assist is like just on another planet.
I think Van de Ven also had a stinky game. He went from having good games against United and. I guess.
Bro, why didn't they just try him in striker and have someone else in centre back at this rate, bro? The guy's
Richarlison centre back.
I mean? Put Van de Ven at striker, bro. Maybe we'll start scoring more goals, bro.
He's just
even on
the only thing he's good at, bro.
Ball carrying. Yeah. No, I'm telling you, ball carrying. Like, fair play to him. He's actually really, really good at ball carrying.
Yeah.
But, hey, you talk about ball carriers. Maybe play Van de Ven in the midfield.
Literally, bro. I just bro. This guy's misprofiled, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's not a Scott.
I feel like he's quick. He's quite good at carrying the ball, and it could be worth a try. You never know. Again, we don't know what we're talking about, to be honest with you, in that sense.
Just waffling.
Yeah, literally just waffling. But that's the North London done. Now, let's move on to the final game of the weekend, and the one where we need to have a conversation about this. Manchester United lose 1-0 to Everton. 10 men Everton at home at Old Trafford for the first time, and I'm pretty sure in their Premier League history. They've lost to 10 men at home. Now, before I let the boys discuss, let me have my say.
Go
Okay?
away.
Right. So with the Everton, right? You think that they're sabotaging themselves by getting a man sent off. Honestly, that situation was so stupid. I've never seen anything like that in my whole life. Like, why would you slap your teammate? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, okay, maybe it's not
It was a slap.
forceful slap. Yeah, it was a slap.
Yeah.
He slapped him.
Oh, first, yeah, it was a slap. Yeah.
So yeah, he slapped him, and bro, like, okay, it's not a forceful slap, but it's like there was a bit of aggression behind it. You know, they're fighting, and they were gonna get into a proper scrap, and it's really weird seeing that. It was very stupid. But that's not even the most stupid part of the whole game. I would give Idrissa Gana Gueye maybe 12th, and then the rest of the Man United team are all on top of him. Do you know what I mean? They're all crap. Not one player in the Man United team even had a good performance. Not even a good performance. I might say Mason Mount, when he came off the bench, was decent. He made some chances. But, bro, you know what I mean? I can't even speak. It's so bad. I feel like the one man we need to talk about the most, Bruno Fernandes. Now, maybe not the worst player on the pitch, but you are the captain. You have to, you know, do something that can help drag your team back into the game. You're against 10 men, for Pete's sake. 10 men. Everton, don't take anything away from them. They were good. They were class. Fair play to them defensively. But as a captain, you need to make sure that you are putting your teammates' head up. You're not performing. He had that chance from Mason Mount where literally he could have just shot it on target and forced a save. This brother tried an outside of the foot shot in the 6-yard box and skied it. I don't even know how that's even physically possible. Do you know what I mean? Left foot it, side foot with your right. Do something. It's basics. Like the final thing I will say is that every single player on that pitch today, they talk about intensity, they talk about mentality. We played football yesterday on the Sunday, right? And I swear to you, if you had put us in, we would have showed more passion, more quality, and more consistency in the whole game. Because I'm telling you, we could string at least 5 passes together with the amount of space you have. Like, Everton literally was in their deep in their box, and they only had Barry up top. And somehow Barry pressed our whole team. Made him look like he's fucking shouldn't be in the Ballers League, you know what I mean? Even though he should be, you know? Unbelievable. Yeah. Let's just, if you guys want to go ahead and have your say, yeah, go ahead.
Nah,
Shall I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead, son.
Yeah, honestly, ridiculous performance. Like, you cannot, like, if you think of this game, Ruben Amorim is to blame. Like, honestly, rip off your manager or just burn it. Don't even watch football anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot, even with a PE teacher as the coach, you should be able to win a game like that. You know what I mean? At Old Trafford, with 10 men, Everton, who haven't been good recently with 11 men, like, is generally a woeful performance, you know. And I guess people, as I said to the boys, you know, they can't use the argument that we only win against 10 men, but the team just makes it even worse. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have that as like what other teams say against us rather than us actually losing to a team and not being able to score against 10 men. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing, you know. Every player on that pitch was woeful for us. You got credit to Everton, especially Pickford. That guy needs to be tested because some of the saves he made was insane.
That one save from Joshua Zirkzee header was incredible.
You have to give props to him. Like, literally, you have to give props to him. You cannot even blame Everton whatsoever. They did their job. They scored the goal, sat back, defended like on a prime AC Milan. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a very good performance from them in terms of the defensive standpoint. Yeah, that's what I said about goalkeepers. They can literally keep you in games like this and get you all those 3 points. So you got to give credit to them. Bruno, like, look, he's my favorite player, United, but it wasn't the best performance from him. I can see he was trying, you know, he's trying to shoot, you know, trying to score, do something with the ball. But I guess, you know, this is what happens when you play around other, you know, players are not playing as well as him or trying as hard as him. Now, I think Mboma had a very quiet game. Ahmad was very frustrating to watch. Dorgu could have easily squared it to Ahmad, I think, and he just went for a ridiculous shot at a tight angle. Just silly, low IQ, you know, low mentality plays, you know what I mean? Like, and he brings on Dalla of all people to replace Dorgu. We go from shit to even shit, you know, even shitter, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know what's going on at United. Like, honestly, it's so frustrating to watch. And you got to feel for Amorim. I thought we had good momentum going on, 5 games unbeaten, and now his unbeaten run has been crushed, you know. So, you know, it is what it is at this point. And United Strand, we look like he'll never get his hair cut. So, yeah, you know, sad days for him, I guess, as well.
Unlimited content.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, infinite money glitch, you know what I mean?
To be honest, the only thing I can really say is, look, when I looked at it, I did say to the boys, and I know I was sounding a bit negative, but I was like, look, they went on a 5 unbeaten run streak, but it had to come to an end at some point. I wouldn't have thought it was going to be this game, if I'm being honest. Obviously, I did.
Wait, guys. 25 shots, by the way. 25 shots, 6 on target.
Yeah.
Okay. 70% possession. Not one goal. Not one.
Yeah, no, look, I think genuinely it's still.
But that's where you don't listen to stats. You do not listen to stats in this case.
No, but you watch the game and you see how many times we've tried to shoot. It's ridiculous angles we're shooting from.
That's what I'm saying.
Shooting from far, going off target, blasting it. God knows
I
what
think
to the
if
moon.
Zirkzee
You know what I mean?
is against any other keeper that goes in. Like, I think that's any other keeper that goes in. Because that save, honestly, was on another level.
Pickford's playing out of his skin. He's going to go back into his cave and not pull up performances like that again. You know what I mean?
Until the World Cup. Yeah.
But, like,
until the World Cup,
genuinely, like, if that's another keeper that goes in, and you never know. But, look, obviously, he made the save, and it was one of the best saves I've ever seen. Had me up on my feet thinking, like, how the hell has he saved that?
I was in the library watching it.
And, like, fair play to him. He's a great keeper, to be fair. But he's, like... I feel like he only shows up in, like, big games, to be honest. But, fair play to Everton. They followed the game plan, played it perfectly, especially after that stupid red card, which was bizarre. I've never seen anything like it, really. Don't know what he was thinking. But, they played, sat deep, played well, defended well. And they got the result that they deserved, in my opinion. I think if it was 1-1, it would have been a travesty. I think it would have been unfair. Like, they played so well that it wouldn't have been
100%.
It would have been undeserved to not get 3 points. Not even 1 point. They deserved all 3. 1 point
100%.
would have been undeserved. They deserved all 3. And
I think one thing about Everton as well. Obviously, we talk about defensively being solid. Their attacking players, they won some great free kicks and great positions.
And Ndiaye is one sexy player, bruv.
Yeah.
But I thought Dewsbury Hall was the man of the match, not because of the goal, but just because of how silky he was on the ball. I thought he was really, really good.
He's so good.
I think Casper had a very quiet game as well. From his recent form, you'd expect him to play well, but
no wonder
he was really quiet.
I mean, the whole team played bad.
No wonder Bonloho is so obsessed with Dewsbury Hall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, fair play to him. He's seen the vision, you see what I mean? But did he say that about Phil Foden as an assist? No, he didn't.
One thing I will say, though, I think obviously Man United made Everton look good from a defensive standpoint. I don't think we were dangerous enough or clinical enough to score. It looked like we're never going to score, and we didn't. So, yeah, and I think that it wasn't a case of Everton deserving 3 points. It was us not deserving the 3 points or any result, because that was a shambolic performance from us. So, yeah, I mean, they do deserve the 3 points, but at the same time, we did not deserve the 3 points. You know what I mean? We didn't try hard enough to get the 3 points. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
100%. I think that's it, guys. That's the results all being discussed. I think we discussed them in very good depth, and I thought very good video, to be honest. But before we get into the quiz, if you just want to, the leaderboard will be here. Looking a bit tight, getting a bit tighter. You know what I mean? Even I'm catching up. Making it a bit more interesting. So yeah, that is the leaderboard there for you guys. But let's go on to the quiz. Al, what are the questions? Sorry.
First fact. When he was playing Sunday League football, he was ejected from a trial at Brighton, partly because he didn't own proper boots and arrived wearing a friend's oversized pair. Second fact. His discovery by Crystal Palace came through semi-pro defender Phil Coleman, who recommended him to Palace after repeatedly struggling to mark him in non-league matches. The third fact, he scored every type of goal in Arsenal's debut hat-trick, left foot, right foot and a header, becoming one of the few players in club history to do so on their league debut. Fourth fact, despite later becoming an Arsenal legend, he was initially signed only as a cover for Paul Merson, not as a first-choice striker. Fifth and the final fact. He won his first England cap at 28 years old, making him one of the oldest first-time England internationals of the Premier League era. Let us know in the comments if you know who that is, and we'll reveal him in the next episode.
What I'm going to say is Paul flipping Merson. That guy's a pundit. Is bloody awful. Yeah, but as a player, he's probably decent. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you guys for coming in. Really appreciate it. Please, guys, if you have any comments on the games that happened, please leave them in the comments below. We'd be very interested in see what you guys come up with. But that's it from us. Thank you guys for coming in. Please leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you get notified when we upload videos, and we will see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Yeah.